2021 has shown to be the year of the mass exodus of people leaving their jobs, especially in the United States. In August of this year, 4.3 million people quit their jobs, while since April of this year, 20 million people have quit their jobs in total in just the US. And it's been known as the Great Resignation and has shown signs of extending to other parts of the world, such as Europe. The global pandemic has showed that people are considering and reevaluating their careers and their jobs, and with a strong job market, they're prepared to take advantage of better opportunities that come their way. If you are one of the millions of people who's currently wondering whether you should quit your job, you might be wondering how to go about it the right way. In this video, I'm going to talk through how to quit your job the right way. If you're on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit the bell to get notifications for future content from myself. Quitting your job can involve an uncomfortable conversation with your manager or boss, so you want to make sure you go about it the right way so that you leave a lasting impression on your employer when you exit. Resigning from your job on the right note is important for your own career credibility and brand. You might need your current employer to be a reference for you in the future. You also never know who they speak to in the broader market. The other thing is that your current team or the current staff you work with, they're eventually going to leave that organization as well and move into other organizations. And therefore, that might create opportunities for you down the track. The other thing you also need to remember is that you might want to come back and work at this company. So you need to make sure that you exit on the right note. Before you have the conversation with your manager around your resignation, you want to make sure that you've got your resignation letter ready. Your resignation letter will need to have the person it's addressed to, state the fact that it is a resignation letter. You also want to have your end date, and you can include a couple of sentences about how thankful you are for the opportunity to work with your manager and the company, and also throw in another sentence around that you're prepared to do what you can to help in terms of transition or any help that's required as you exit. At some point, you're going to need to tell your boss or manager that you're leaving. Whether you tell them that you're planning on leaving or you just hand them your resignation will depend on the type of relationship and the amount of trust that you have with your manager or boss. I would imagine that most bosses and managers are fairly supportive. They'll understand your reasons for wanting to leave or move on and that you're seeking new challenges, though they may even try and work with you to find you a new role within the organization, or they may even be supportive enough that they're happy to be a referee or a reference for you for your next potential role. Supportive bosses also appreciate honesty, so this is why you want them to be the ones to hear it first from you rather than through colleagues or via the grapevine, because that will put you in an awkward position. It'll also make it difficult for you if you decide you want to change your mind and you want to stay. This is the other thing about making the decision of when to tell your boss if you do have a difficult boss, because they can potentially make the last few weeks of your time difficult, especially if you change your mind. So you just want to make sure that you're clear around your timing of letting your boss know. The other thing will be, once you've had that conversation, keep it confidential with your manager or boss, because they will want to make the best decision around when to let the team and the wider organization know of your resignation. When it comes time to have that conversation with your manager around the actual conversation and specifics, you want to ensure that it is completely centered away from airing any grievances. You don't want to be doing that. You want to actually be focusing on the new opportunity and that you're seeking a new challenge. You also want to be thanking your boss and the employer for the opportunity to work with them and how greatly you appreciate it. And also offer that you're happy to help out with any transitional activities or in any way you can help out to ensure there's a smooth transition of you exiting the company. In terms of how much notice you give, it should specify in your contract how much you need to give, which should be anywhere from potentially 2 to 4 weeks. In some cases, it can be beyond that. If you do want to give a longer period of notice, just make sure you talk that through with your manager. Also, if you're looking to leave earlier and potentially use some annual leave, you'll need to have a conversation with your manager as well. However, you won't be paid that, or in most cases, I would expect you won't be paid your annual leave that you've used up as you exit the company. It's natural in your last few weeks of work to maybe not feel as engaged in your work as what you normally would have if you weren't resigning. But it's more important than ever to finish on the right note and ensure your productivity is high, you're still engaged, and you're doing what you can to help with the transition. You also want to make sure that you're catching up with your teammates and maintaining those relationships for when you leave the company. The last thing you want to be known as is really that person who mentally checked out in the last few weeks of their job and just kind of plateaued and exited while doing the bare minimum. You want to finish your time with your current employer on a high so that your career credibility and brand remains intact. Make sure that in your resignation letter you keep it short and sharp. There's no need to write a novel. Book a time with your manager to meet with them and make sure that it's really about thanking them for the opportunity and you're excited about the new challenge ahead, and you're also willing to do whatever it is to finish on a high note by helping them transition you out. The other thing is make sure you've agreed a date that you're comfortable with finishing, and the other thing as well is make sure that you maintain your high level of productivity as well as staying engaged with the company so that you can exit on the high and ensure that they're set up for success, for future success. If you like what I have to say, please, as I mentioned earlier, subscribe to my channel. Also click the alert notification bell. There's going to be more content coming through. If you need assistance with writing a resume or upgrading your resume, I have written Career Secrets, Write a Resume That Lands You an Interview. I'll put a link down in the description below where you can access that on Amazon. I really appreciate you watching this video and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.